It's Sharon here. We're live. Just give us a couple of seconds to sort out our technical things and let a few people jump on, because we're doing things a bit differently today. I'm usually over on Essential Stencil's Facebook page, but I'm here today on my own page. I restore stuff. So we're just going to be, there we go, right there. Going to be doing something with books today. So I don't know if you saw any of the photos that I showed you on my page earlier or this week, but here's a bit of an idea. We're going to be doing some stenciling on feathers. Ever done that before? And creating an aged look. So I'm not sure if you can see that because I can't see behind the camera. I haven't got my cameraman here, but Celia's here. Give her some love if you've just joined me, and give us some thumbs up. So these are little escutcheons, I guess that's how you say it, little keyhole kind of things, and they are made by Effex. So I'll show you how to put some of those on. We'll be doing all sorts of fun things. Today, one of the main stencils I'm using from Essential Stencil will be it's their Scrabble letter stencils. So stay tuned, and we've got some prizes going. 3 lucky winners will get a prize at the end of our live. So make sure you stay tuned right to the end, and it'll be a random stencil. Did you know that Essential Stencil has their Christmas range out now, and they have some beautiful Christmas stencils, and I have done some lives on some of those in the past. So if you jump onto Essential Stencil's Facebook page, you'll be able to go to their video section and you'll see all of the beautiful lives that I've done and the other ambassadors for Essential Stencil have done over there. So if you would like, you can sprinkle the love and share this around with your friends by hitting that little button there that says to share. And I'm just going to do that on my group. If you just excuse me for a second, we can share. Oh no, I can't share it on here. That's okay. Here I go, share button. And also just watch for the comments, because I'll get the, oh hi Tracy, I can see some comments now. See, I don't usually see these because I'm usually not doing this. You're doing it, Celia. But I'm just going to put this on my I Restore stuff. You can to group and just let them know that I'm live over on my page. So if you know anybody who loves stenciling or loves DIY or craft projects, tag them. All right, so let's get started. We're using books today. Now, old books. Books that have just actually been in the trash and I've pulled them out, so I am rescuing them and using them in a different way. So don't get mad at me because I'm doing things with books. These are ones that nobody's reading and they've gone to the trash. So what I've done is I've put on one of these appliques and I've painted it. That seems all really easy, but I'll just show you just in case you need to know. So here's a book, plain book that is just got nothing on the cover. I've taken off the paper cover. The other idea that I've seen lately too is spineless books. So this one, the spine was actually tearing off, so I just removed it completely, and you've got these kind of spineless naked books that you can do in a stack and put some twine around them. We will be able to get you a supply list too of all of the things that we're working on using today for our live. And here's another one, I'll just lay that down. So these are Effex appliques, and you can get those with the supply list that we'll link somewhere in the comments. All right, so the keyhole should just probably go about like that. There's a few different styles that you can find. What we'll be using today is just some Gorilla Glue. So I don't even know, I can't even remember if I added this to my supply list, but it's just a contact glue. So what you want to do is put it on both surfaces. So to do that, a pencil I do need. Oh, hang on, I'll just use a pen because it doesn't matter, we're going to paint it anyway. Actually, I think I've got the keyhole upside down. I think if I'm doing this correctly, and that's the way that the book goes, not that we're going to open up the pages, but I'm going to add this here. Oh, thank you, you've got me a pencil anyway. Just going to do this and just trace quickly around the outside of our escutcheon. And if you've joined me for the first time, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. And if you've joined Essential Stencil page and you're over here on my page for the first time, please let me know where you're coming from. And if you're just been here so many times and you love watching us do our lives, please just give us a heart or say where you're from, how's the weather in your neck of the woods. All right, so we've traced around that. And Celia, let me know if we've got where people are commenting from.
Okay. We have Tennessee and Florida and Georgia and NC and Idaho and PA. And
lots of people in the USA. Yay. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. All right, so this is the contact glue. What I told you is we're just going to use this on both surfaces. So this is a contact glue that you use for all sorts of things. It says wood, rubber, leather, cardboard, laminates. And I'm using a toothpick to just apply it and get it all over. Now it says on here, because of the type of glue it is, that you have to wait for this to sort of dry and get tacky, and then you put the both sides together. So once it kind of dries in about 15 minutes or something, you put the tacky sides together. Whew. It's quite tacky. And so now we're going to put it on this surface. So the reason I traced it is so we're only putting the glue exactly where that is going to go.
Unlike me, who last time just squirted the glue on the back and shoved it on and put something on top to hold it down.
There you go, well.
The not classy way to do it.
It still worked. I don't think any have come off. You can use this. I've used this for repairing shoes too. So you know how sometimes the sole of the sneakers will come away. That's what they use this for, repairing shoes. So in about 10 to 15 minutes, you sort of wait for that, and we'll do that. So we'll put it aside and do something else. You come back and you stick those two surfaces together. But we don't want to get the glue everywhere else, even though it'll just kind of ooze out and look tacky. So that bit's done, and we'll leave that here, that there, let them just kind of get sticky, and then we'll come back to that. So basically once you've got that, then you can just grab a paintbrush and go ahead and paint away on your book. I painted this one in particular in Fusions Damask. This one I've painted in beautiful little teapot teal colour. So we've got all sorts of fun colours here. Now if you notice on some of these, I've got quite a rough surface, and it's a textured kind of feel. This one's highlighted by some antiquing wax, but I haven't highlighted this one yet. We'll go over that and do that and highlight the detail in a minute with some kind of wax. Maybe a white wax. What do you think of that? But what I've done is I've used Fusion's Fresco, which is a powdered texturizing medium. And if you saw my live that I did a couple of weeks ago on a great big fall-autumn board sign, then that's what... Oh, I've got a cup here. Yep. That's what I did for the leaves on the autumn stencil. Is I used some Fresco and we textured it and texturized and made a 3D stencil. So if you need to learn how to do 3D stencils, that's a great video to go back and look at. Okay, so what we've got to do is we're going to mix the Fresco with some paint. So this damask is going to actually be like a background for my colour. I'll show you what it'll sort of end up, the idea anyway, is this one's background colour was this coral, this beautiful coral here. I don't know if you can see this as clearly on the video as I'm seeing it with my eyes, but it kind of mesmerises your eyes. The colour is so vivid and bright. But on top of that, I've mixed some Fresco texturizing medium with this azure blue, and it's given this lovely crackle over the top, and I've only spattered it in sections. So that's the kind of effect I'm going to do on the damask, and instead of doing two different colours, I'm going to do the pink and a white. So I'm using lamp white, and this is just Fusion Mineral Paint, which is a furniture paint with a matte finish, similar to chalk paint, except it has a built-in top coat, so there's no need to wax it or finish it. It's got that durability on the top coat of it. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and Celia will gladly answer them. Or she will let me know what your comments are. Yep. Let me just grab my spatula.
So we have Julie from Port Arlington, Victoria with us today. Woohoo!
Hey.
As well as our lovely American friends in Iowa and Georgia.
Glad. Wave your little Aussie flags there if we've got Aussies in the house.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pour a little bit of the fusion paint in here. You really don't need a lot because I'm only covering a book. But let me just go with a little bit more, just in case. It's better to have a little bit more than not enough, right?
Yes, always. Is the Fresco Miss Pickens?
No, it's Fresco is a fusion product.
Hi, Stacey. I'm getting hellos. Wow.
You're getting hellos. Hey, Celia's getting some hellos. That's wonderful.
Woohoo.
I didn't bring a cloth, but that's all right. I always end up with paint on my hands. So what the ratio usually is 2 tablespoons of the Fresco to 1, oh no, sorry, wrong one. For a textured look is 1 part Fresco to 2 parts of fusion mineral paint. So I've probably got about 1 scoop in my little cup here. So I'll take a half a scoop of the Fresco powder and mix that with this. And that's going to create a texture, thank you, when I just mix it. So what we want to do is just mix it to it's a consistency of cottage cheese. What do they call that over there? They call it something else. Ricotta, kind of a ricotta mixture. So lamp white is kind of an off-white greyish colour. So we're doing some sort of, it'll look nice against the pink.
Can you bring it up closer to the camera?
There we go. Is that better?
Is
So that's probably a little bit too thick. I'm going to add just a bit of touch of paint to that.
Is Fresco like plaster of Paris?
No, it's not. No, it's not plaster of Paris. It is a completely different product. And I don't know that you can do this with plaster of Paris. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that. But let me just add a little drizzle of this.
Donna loves my name, my lovely old-fashioned Celia name.
Oh.
Gosh, I think it's coming back into fashion.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is just plonk this mixture here.
Being an Aussie, we plonk, chuck, and
Plonk,
throw.
chuck, throw. Those are the key words for today. Yes, we're here in Australia. If you've joined us from the USA, it's 10-ish here. All right, this looks like I'm just creating a great big mess. I'm just dragging this Fresco across the book surface. And like I did with this, just kind of dragged it in dribs and drabs because we want to see that damask underneath. We want to leave some bits out. And we're going to have, lumpy bits.
A bit like muffins, don't mix it all in.
That's right, we don't mix it all in. You just kind of got to leave it just till it's mixed, if that makes sense. So you can kind of put as much or as little of this stuff on as you want for the technique that we're doing today. I want to get right in next to that key escutcheon area so that it doesn't look like we've just tacked it on at the end, which we have. So we can see that lovely damask underneath there. We'll be doing some other different techniques on here today, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And Celia's going to Celia's going to pick some prize winners at the end of our live today, and you'll get to win an Essential Stencil, random of their choice, and don't worry, you will not be disappointed. All right, so I've got to do the other side now. So I'm just going to open up my book. Do the spine. Oh look, we can see a little bit of where the words were. So you know how some spines of the books are indented, what do you call that, embossed?
Embossed, yeah, raised printing.
So then to cover that, we just smush a little bit more in. And no mistakes with this, it's called art. Am I right? So
Maria says, where do you purchase Fresco? On the list.
yes, we'll provide a supply list, and Essential Stencil will send you a link to that in the comments somewhere. Later on. I'll get them to do that. And make sure you're on their email list and you can catch their emails whenever they've got the new stencils coming out. In fact, they have just launched something really exciting, if you haven't already heard. Who can tell us in the comments what Essential Stencil has just launched? Let's just see if they know already. See if anybody knows. Let me just say. Okay, can you see that? We're just kind of smoothing and smudging and smearing this textured powder on, and you'll get lots of, it's like Fresco in Italy and France.
Julie said Christmas.
And
Bev was the first to say monthly stencil club.
Oh, Bev is correct. Bev. So yes,
And
Essential
Donna
Stencil have
and
a Stencil of the Month Club.
Go.
And if you use my coupon code, which is I Restore Stuff, we'll pop that in the comments sometime or put it up at the top. You'll get a $5 discount on your Stencil of the Month Club. So that is pretty good. Also, if you use that same code, I Restore Stuff, for any of their stencils in the normal stencil range at essentialstencil.com, you'll get a percentage off there at the checkout also. So that is awesome. All right, so there's our Fresco, and you can see that we've got that really looking textured there. And you can embellish that afterwards, as I'll show you with other kinds of things. Now with that standing out like it is there, what I might do is just do a little bit of dry brushing on the tips of that key escutcheon. Tiny brush. I'll just use this one, that's fine, yep. So I'm just going to do a dry brush technique. So what I do is I just dip the top tips of the brush, getting my words all mixed up today, and I'm drying off the edges so that I've got none left on the brush. Well, we do have some left because you'll see. So just making sure I've got this in the centre, Celia, because I can't see it. All right,
All good.
so we're just going to drag it across the tips of that right there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It highlights the edges, highlights the high areas. So then it kind of blends it with the rest of the textured powder. So we're going to set that aside and let that dry and have some fun with something else. In fact, let's just take a look back here at our gluing on the escutcheon thing. And I'll make sure I get it up the right way. Should have a pair of tweezers or something. All right, that's the right way. So we've got the sticky edge here. If you've just joined us, we've just glued this on just with some Gorilla. It's contact adhesive, which means that you have to have glue on here, the glue on there, you let it dry, get tacky, 15 minutes. So right now it's tacky. It's not sticky, like it's not sticking to me, but it's just tacky. So then we're going to put it in exactly the same spot that we had glued it down in and add the two things together. And we can just clamp that or just leave it like this. It's actually going to stick really well. But if you were concerned about it, just grab a clamp and clamp your book, clamp your escutcheon on, and just let it sit there to dry. And that'll be all ready for its next part of its journey. And look at all my books. You've just joined us, we've got a range of different books here. Here's one that I actually just painted, and I didn't put any Fresco on this one, but I've added, what we're going to use today is these fun Scrabble letter stencils from Essential Stencil. Now, each Scrabble letter does have the little Scrabble score amount on them, but you don't have to use the score amount, so I just used the letter A on here, so you could use someone's initial. You could also put them on the sides of the book, so blue that we've done here, and then we're going to put some white wax on here to show and highlight details. In fact, I don't even know if I'll put white wax on. I might just try that highlighting idea with the lamp white. Let's just do that. But first, let's have a look at these stencils, and I'm thinking some fun Christmassy thoughts, even though it's not Christmassy colours. But I think the word J-O-Y would go lovely down the top here. So we can use these for creating all sorts of fun letters. Yes, that'll go perfectly. So I think, hint here, think it makes sense to open the book up for a start, but also to start with the centre letter. So you'll fit 3 letters down the spine. Look, that's not going to work for me, is it? I'm going to have to do this. We can do this. So I'll start with the centre letter, which is the O. And I might actually use oh guys, should I use a red or a green Christmassy colour for this? Oh, the green won't go. What about that cranberry red against the blue? Who votes for cranberry red? We can say red, black, or the lamp white. Red, black, or white. There's your colour choices, and go. Want to hear what you're going to say for our joy.
Jennifer from Perth.
Hey Jennifer.
From Kansas, and Alicia, and Roxanne.
Hi guys.
And red was the first colour. Michelle.
Red was the first colour. Michelle thinks red. What do you guys think? So red would go still nicely, I think. That would look lovely.
Yep. Cranberry says
cranberry. We're getting some more cranberries. Black. Is
white
black and white sort of too boring?
Ooh, 2 whites and 2 reds so
Oh,
far.
guys. I think I might go with the red because the white, I'm going to use that dry brushing technique afterwards. So let's go with the red. And for my stenciling purposes...
We have 3 votes for red and 3 for white and 1 for black.
Oh, guys. Now
black
we're...
is out.
Now we're going. All right. Are we in focus there? It looks like we're not on the screen, but maybe that's just...
Oops. You mean like positioned?
Is it? No, just...
Tap it?
maybe? I don't know.
That helped? Okay.
Okay, so stenciling with the red, I use my rubber band trick and just tie that around here, or you can use painter's tape just to shorten my bristles to make it stencil a little better, because if you have longer bristles, it's just a little bit floppier. So that's my reason. I always have people asking, what have you got a rubber band on the end of your stencil brush for?
Such a great idea.
I'll just hold this over. All right, making sure you can see everything there. We're using Essential Stencils, little Scrabble tile stencils. But stay tuned, because at the end we're going to pick a winner who will... I don't even know if they're going to choose the Scrabble tiles. They might choose something completely random and different, but Essential Stencil will send you out a prize if you are chosen as a winner. So leave your best comments and Celia will choose. All right, so let's see if I can get that as flat as I can. I could use some painter's tape, but I am just going to hold that with my hands really still. So I've dried off my brush as much as I can, because less is more when it comes to stenciling. I hope you can see that all right there.
Yes.
Make sure we're in the picture. Oh, sorry.
Right, I can move.
Okay. And I'm just smushing it into the stencil in little tiny round swirls. I don't want it to bleed underneath the stencil and cause bleeding, so that's the way I've found that works for me the best.
Less is more.
Yeah. So we've got hardly any on our brush, and I've just rubbed it in really gently, and now we have an O. I think I like that. All right, reading right way up. Oh gosh, yes, we've got it the right way up. Just checking. And then we can put our J on, and I'm not even going to add any more to the brush, because I think I've got enough on the brush. Looking at that space there, so I can match it up with that space down there. And wouldn't this look nice on your bookshelf or your mantelpiece for Christmas?
Or on the windowsill in the toilet.
Yeah.
Anything to decorate.
In the bathroom, they say in America.
DWC.
Yes. So there we go. Just that has been plenty to put on here, so I didn't even need to add any to my brush. And there's the J.
It looks great.
Wow, what a great idea for Christmas. What other words can you think of? So you'd probably fit 3 letters on there. So tell me your thoughts, guys. If you can think of any other respectful 3-letter words that we can put on the side of a book, feel free to pop them in the comments there. And we'll...
Yeah. As Stacey said, it's great to see the letters oriented vertically, not just horizontally,
Yeah.
like a lot too.
Okay, yep.
That's because sharing things outside the box.
All right, so I've added just a tiny bit more onto my brush. And again, I'm just I dab it and then just give it a little wriggle. Just, you don't want to brush too much, otherwise it'll get underneath. You don't want it to get underneath. But yeah, I just really encourage you to watch some of the other ambassadors and their videos and how they do their stenciling and their techniques, and try them all out and find the best one that really suits you. And you'll just find that practice makes perfect, and you'll find exactly the right method that you will enjoy doing, and that gives you the best results. So there we go, JOY, and how's that for a Christmas beauty? So there you go, Christmas joy. And now to show you, and that's the Scrabble tiles. So we've got JOY.
Yes. Roxanne asked if it's a 4-inch. The stencils are all 4 inches, but the letters definitely aren't actually 4 inches by themselves, because that would be about 10 centimetres.
Yeah, so like 4 inches each stencil. So the stencil is 4x4.
Elf. Great idea. Word.
Yes, elf. There's a Christmas word. I've been trying to think of other Christmas words. Love, LUV might fit, yeah, if we can.
Thanks, Mimi. I was just thinking you loved us. But
yeah. Of course they do. All right, so there's one idea. Let me just turn that over. So that's pretty much, I mean, it dries fairly quickly, that fusion paint, furniture paint. Put that on the side there, and I'll show you the dry brushing technique. I don't know whether to pop that in the, I might just leave it here in case I want to use it again. All right, now this is my brush that I used before. It hasn't quite dried off, and so, just got some more paint on me. I'm going to be using this lamp white colour, and we'll have a supply list with all where you can get all of these things, fusion paint and all the rest of it. Dipping the paint bristles, just the ends, into the paint, but then I'm going to wipe the excess off on the jar, and I'm going to wipe some more excess off. I think I can afford a new piece of newspaper. And I'm just going to wipe off the excess on there also, because this is called dry brushing. So I may just bring it just slightly a little bit closer, let me know if that's perfect. And we're going to just drag the bristles, see there's just that much on the bristles, dragging them across the surface. I don't know if you can see that yet, but less is more. So the harder you push, the more will come onto that. So what's happening here is it's hitting those high points of the fresco, and you'll see that it's hitting the high points and standing out and creating a little bit, it's almost like snow dust or something on the top there. How's that?
That could totally be a frozen one.
Yeah, frozen theme with joy on the side.
Yeah.
Well,
really
if you just let it also sit on your bookshelf like this, it doesn't have to be for Christmas. You could just let it sit on the shelf. I've actually painted white on the sides there also. Just sometimes, you know how book pages, they're sort of old and they get run down, and so I just probably need to add a little bit more on my brush now, so I'll do that. Just a tiny dip and brush it off on the paper. Now remember, on this escutcheon that I've glued onto there, I'm just going to drag gently across the top of that. Look at that, how it just really pops and makes it stand out. So that's that. I'll do it again, dragging your brush. This is called dry brushing, and it works especially well if there's detailed pieces where there's carving on furniture pieces. That's what I use this technique for. But because I have this Fresco powder, which I showed you how to mix that in the beginning of the video, if you just joined us, catch it on the replay, and you'll be able to go back to the beginning and watch that. And we're just going to dust it all over. So it sort of takes away from the brightness of that azure colour also, because it is quite bright. You may not see the brightness on video because it doesn't always work out to look the same as exactly it does in real life, does it? These things, but that's okay. So there we go. And you can put more on, you can put less on. What I like to do sometimes is just hit those edges again with the brush. Hang on, here we go. Sort of highlighting the edges a little bit more in the corner up there.
One lovely lady, Sherry's got an idea of doing these with her grandkids' names on the sides as journals.
Yes, that would be lovely. Exactly. So what I'm going to do is do that on the side as well. So here we go. See how it's dusting over the red as well. And that sort of just mutes that red tone and the stencil just slightly, so it doesn't look like it almost looks a little bit aged. I hope I'm getting that all in.
You are. It's hard to see the aging through the camera, but definitely muted it
Yeah,
in real life.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so we just flip that over. So that's pretty much dried because it's just a dry brushing. It's really not going to stick to your hands too much. I'm just going to grab a little bit more off there, rub it off onto the paper, and once again dragging my brush all over the surface, which has been textured. Whoops, it's a little bit too much here. So what I usually do is, because I'm rushing, but it's on the underside, it's okay. I always say less. I usually say less is more because you can always add more, but if you get too much on your brush, you can't really sand that off now. So that's okay. Just thought I'd show you what not to do.
Maria gave us a great bunch of suggestions for
Yes.
3-letter words.
Okay.
Fly,
Oh
ink, pad.
yeah. Okay. There you
I
go.
like elf better.
Elf. Elf's a Christmassy one.
Couple of
Fly. That's a nice inspirational word though.
Wow.
Fly. Okay, so there's one idea for your Christmas stash. Or like I said, you don't have to have it for Christmas. You could put it up on the shelf like so, or even like this, or you could just lay it, say this way, on a shelf and have that as... and what I do is I've bound this one, see, with some string. I've added an antiquing wax to that one and added it with string. I want to show you now how to do a beautiful feather and make that as part of your stenciling tricks. So I'll pop that one aside, put it like this. Let's do the peanut, yeah.
A couple of volume challenges. People saying we're a bit soft.
Oh, a bit soft, sorry about that. I'll try and talk just a bit louder. Usually I have my husband doing the audio side of things, and he's usually got a lapel mic stuck to my shirt. All right, can you hear us now? Okay, so here's a feather. We're going to be stenciling on the feather. So here's another hack that I can show you using Essential Stencils. And this one's also finished, so I'll pop that here as well to show you. That's our one that had the Fresco on it. And I'm going to get another stencil brush. Oh, here it is.
Can I just... Somebody asked, how big are the actual letters? So there's my ruler. Whoopsie. The whole thing is 4 inches. Sorry about this, guys. The letters are just over 2.
There you go.
Right.
So that gives you an idea. And width-wise, they are... Well, they're probably varying width-wise because the J is going to be a little less than the other ones. U probably might be a max, so 1 and... Is that a quarter? 1 and a quarter? Just over 1 and a quarter, I think.
Yeah.
For our Aussie people, we'd be saying that in centimetres. We'll have to figure that out later. All right, where's my other book? Oh no, that's what I was going to do. Show you a hack using Essential Stencils. Now, here's a trick. Have you ever thought of this, and have you done this before? Is just using other letters from other stencils to create words. So I've just grabbed one of the stencils over here, which comes in a set. Together is my favourite place to be, and It's So Good to Be Home, which I've also done a stencil video on. So I'm going to use the Together is my favourite place to be and use some of these letters down here to spell out my word love. You can see where I've stenciled, see? My little letters. So to do that, I hope you can see this feather okay on the newspaper here as a background. Probably should have got some brown paper. But so what I want to do is try and place the word love across the feather just using some of these little letters in here. So this is like a typewriter font, which is a really cool font. And I'm going to just place the L right here. So I can see through the stencil enough to see where my feather is and the placement of it. It doesn't matter if you go over the, what do you call that, the bone or the spine of the feather? Oh, let's just call it a spine. There's probably some official word for it. But what I'm going to do is just place a little bit of tape on the other sides of the letters so that I don't get those, and then I'll just move those around as I do my letters. All right, so you can do this with Imagine. It's like that word game you can play that, you know, remember at school they give you a sentence and you say, see, or a word, and say, see how many other small words you can make out of this word. So this is a game of see what other words you can make out of Essential Stencils, stencil letters. All right, and once again, I've just got my brush that I'm going to stencil with here. I'm just using a Klingon R12 brush. Just any of the round brushes is good. I'm wiping off excess, and I've got my L placed just on the feather here. I'm just going to dab on this one, and now I have a little L on my feather. Ta-da! So now I want to use, I'm going to make the word love. So if you can think of some other letters that you can see on here that you could use a whole word for, you could just create all sorts of things.
We have a Lisa who is very smart. She used her Halloween set to do Happy Fall by turning the E into an F.
Perfect. I love those ideas. It's very clever. Yeah, so you can use some of their other stencils. Now the trick is that I've put a blue tape over here, so I'm trying to line it up with the L. It could just look like a wonky typewriter when I'm finished, or it might look amazing. So just going to do the O. How quick is this? I just got these feathers really well. I've got the Amazon link, affiliate link there for you in the supply list, but you can find those at a lot of craft stores as well. L-O, and then I find the letter V and tape either side of this so that we don't get the other letters on it, and I'm going to guess exactly where this is going to go.
We have a Joyce from Woodridge, but Woodridge in Illinois.
Oh, we have a Woodridge not far from us here, Joyce.
Yeah.
So.
And we have Brandy from Oregon. Thanks, hi.
Hi, Brandy.
Lynn
Thank you guys so much for joining. You're all so wonderful. I love that you come on here every week, and
Wendy.
This is going to be a regular thing, so you'll see me every Thursday, either here or on the Essential Stencil page, stenciling with these amazing stencils. Don't forget to use the coupon code I Restore Stuff at the checkout for your discount off your whole order of Essential Stencils. Or you can use the same coupon code over on the brand newly launched stencilofthemonthclub.com, and Essential Stencil will be putting that in the comments or somewhere. We'll make sure that we link that up, so don't go anywhere. All right, L-O-V, and what I want to do is I want to use that little full stop because I think it'll look cool at the end of my love word. Oh boy, I always get nervous that I'm messing it up and doing it. But hey, it'll be fine. There we go. And a little full stop.
Is Essential Stencil back up on Facebook now? Somebody asked.
If I'm sure they are. I think their page is still there and they still have posts and everything. I don't think that their messenger is working at this stage. That's all that's happening. But if you're on the email list, make sure you're on the email list because you will get notified when lives are happening and important products are being launched and things like that. So there you go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Perfect.
I can't see where I'm putting it, but yeah, there's the word love. So then, let's see which book will we put it on. We could pop it on this pink one here.
And
Yes.
a lovely lady asked, where do you get your books from, your journals?
Oh, the books, I just pick up random books from, we call them op shops over here, thrift stores, recycle markets, which is, the recycle markets here are literally people just trash their things and they get rescued and put into a recycle market and people can buy the goods.
The back of your grandparents' bookshelf?
Yes,
It
could
always
be.
works.
You could get them there. So what you can do is just get some hot glue gun and pop that on there to make it stick. You can sit that then on a shelf. We've got the string tied around there, looking beautiful. Or we could pop it on any of these other books. Here's our Joy one. Oh, we've got our thing here. I'll just show you on this one so that we can see our other idea. Whoops, we've got it upside down. There we go. And we just wrap a bit of string around it. I usually wrap my string around about 3 times because I heard that odd numbers are the best. Is that right?
Yep, I like odd numbers.
So you could do, oops, now we're going to be short. Just drag it around a bit more. All right. I hope you're picking names in your head there, Celia, writing them down. Don't forget we've got winners to pick at the end of our live. Can't be slacking off now, girl.
Okay. I'm thinking.
She's on the ball. I don't have scissors. I have to get scissors.
Oh, no. Why don't you do scissors? Here's one she made earlier.
Yes, you can see the string.
Okay, there you go.
Filled in the time. All right, so the feather may not stay there unless you have some glue, so you can just get some hot glue gun and pop that on there. But remember, we've got our word joy on the side, so you don't have to put this one on, the one that you're having joy on. Just so many different options, so many different ideas. So there's the word love with our little string. The word joy on the side, we can make that happen together or not at the same time, or as a different thing altogether. One more thing I just wanted to show you before we pick our winners is here's our spineless book that I showed you before. We could call it a semi-naked book, could we? Or a naked book. Mm-hmm. Where the cover was literally falling off, so I just tore it right off. And we could put our stencil, some letters on here. And let's pop this up. And Celia thought of this one. We could put the word us on the side here. So might start with the S, and I'm just going to put it right down the bottom. You could also do patriotic ones. You could do a USA or an AUS for Oz, or whatever your country symbols are. What do you call that? Abbreviation. All right, so I'm just brushing off my stencil again. I've got my S and holding it really still.
Hi Tennessee, and yes, we love colours.
Yeah, there's some bright colours we've used here on these books. And again, you can sort of tone down your colours with waxes and glazes, or dry brushing, as I showed you with that azure. All right, so there's my S, and if you didn't want it that stark or that bright, you could just make it a little bit less. You could even use these little tiny numbers, if you have a favourite number. What about, you could do like a scripture verse from the Bible that's got the Bible verses and chapters and numbers on it. You could use the little tiny numbers for. That would be fun. So here's us. This would be a great one for, I don't know, wedding decor, wedding decorations, something like that. So this is kind of a little wobbly. Just going to wriggle. Yeah, if you don't want it as stark, you can just put a little bit less paint on your brush. I feel like my book's about to fall over. And if I tried to open it, I think the spine would cave in, so that's why I'm trying to just do it. Yeah, standing up like this. Whoa, tricky. There we go. But having a stack of these, I've done before also, stack of naked books or spineless books, stack them together, make a stack of 3, put some string around them, and put your lettering on the sides. Us.
Roxanne literally just wrote that in the comments, and then you said it.
Us?
No, they glued 3 books together.
And yeah, cool, yeah. So that's an idea I have seen on Pinterest too, so it's a lovely idea. So I've done a few of those for my, I've got a shop booth space here in Brisbane in an antique store. And so there's another cute one there, us. Have that on the bookshelf. A little bit of string around it, again, just for the idea's sake. We'll just wrap some string around. You could tie it in a bow at the end. And don't forget, Essential Stencils, Stencil of the Month Club is a different website than Essential Stencils website. It's called stencilofthemonthclub.com, and you can go there and find a monthly membership. You will get a new stencil each month, and lots of other goodies. And you also get exclusive look at the videos that they will show you using the different stencils that come each month from Essential Stencil. All of the details are there on stencilofthemonthclub.com. Put in my coupon code for $5 off your monthly membership. There you go, us. So here's the things that we've done today. A little recap while Celia chooses her winners. We've done the joy sign, a little bit of Christmassy. We've shown you how to stencil using other Essential stencil letters that are just randomly on the other stencils. I've also shown you how to create a textured layer on this whole book here, that Fresco medium that we've got there. What else did we show you? How to glue on these little escutcheons from Effex. So I've just got to choose a colour for this one now and paint that. Celia, do we have some winners?
Yes, we do. We have a Stacey Midgley Perry, a Bonnie Brainard, and Tracy Jacob Sipling.
Okay, so who is that again? We've got 3 winners. We have
Bonnie Brainard.
Bonnie, congratulations, Bonnie.
Stacey Midgley Perry.
Congratulations, Stacey.
And Tracy Jacob Sipling.
Congratulations, Stacey.
Tracy. One of those.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching another Essential Stencil Live right here on my I Restore Stuff page. I'd love you to like my page, head over to my blog, irestorestuff.com, and you'll find lots of fun things to do there, tutorials and that kind of thing. And I'll see you again next Thursday, same time. Actually, it's Wednesday night there for you, some of you, most of you. Wednesday, or if you're in Australia, it's Thursday, and I'll catch you again next week. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.